I'm ready. There is a constitutional amendment on the Virginia ballot. You know that? We'll share it with you. Transgender writes a letter to Virginia from the Washington Post. That we'll share with you also. And the FBI reopens the email scandal. That, next, and more. Virginia Citizens and American Patriots, the only two-headed talk show
on the planet.
On the planet Earth and other planets as well. We've checked. The Lee Brothers. My name is Scott Lee.
Hi, Richard Lee. Thanks for joining us this beautiful Friday afternoon. I think Hillary is going to change her Halloween costume from being herself, the sea hag, to being someone in a striped suit, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah,
so time will tell. Halloween's coming right around the corner, and we have no Halloween candy in here. What is wrong with you? Why didn't you bring some?
We definitely have Halloween laughter. 454-1366. Lee Brothers up and running here at WNTW. Thanks to Norm Leahy for filling in for us last week. And
thank you, Norm.
Thank you, Norm. So it's opened again. Maybe Comey realized, holy crap, what if Hillary doesn't win?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. What if she doesn't win? I'm out of a job.
That's right.
And if she does win, hey, I was pressured.
The FBI's reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton and use of the private server, while the Comey's like, hang on, there's some other things that have shown up here. We're reopening it. Here's his statement he wrote in a letter to Congress. In previous congressional testimony, I refer to the fact that the FBI had completed its investigation of former Secretary Clinton's personal email server. Due to recent developments, I am writing to supplement my previous testimony. In connection with an unrelated case, the FBI has learned of the existence of emails that appeared to this yesterday, and I agreed the FBI should take appropriate investigative steps designed to allow investigators to review these emails to determine whether they contain classified information, as well as to access their importance to our investigation. In other words,
WikiLeaks had them, and WikiLeaks released them, and they're reopening the case. And this guy is someone who was looked upon as a truly great public servant. I mean, this guy, Comey, great integrity, worked with some great people in his time.
And now he's made fun of.
Now he's kind of like a stooge, a stoolie or something.
Right.
The FBI had never come out and announced there was no need for an investigation before. Someone else would always announce it. The FBI didn't do that, but he did in the case of Hillary Clinton.
Well, let's just remind people what's at stake here. Hillary Clinton,
our national security,
no question about it. This woman is. By the way, here's Trump's. Trump has come out and released his statement, and
it's kind of like this. Ha! Gotcha.
Not quite.
Gotcha.
He said. Trump's statement is, Hillary Clinton's corruption is on a scale we've never seen before. We must not let her take her criminal scheme into the Oval Office. Sounds like he actually wrote it. You would think he'd have people.
You think he would have said something like this, beautifully orchestrated criminal scheme.
The Republican Party of
huge. It's huge.
Of Virginia's chairman, John Whitbeck, said FBI investigations are reopened 11 days before an election unless something truly significant has been discovered. That's the problem with Hillary Clinton. There will always be one more email.
There will always
be
one more
scandal lurking.
Truly significant with Hillary Clinton, always.
Virginia and all of America deserve better. Here's what Congressman Goodlatte said, who is obviously a congressman from the Commonwealth of Virginia. He said the FBI's decision to reopen this investigation of Secretary Clinton reinforces that the House Judiciary Committee has been saying for months. The more we learn about Secretary Clinton's use of private email server, the clearer it becomes that she had and her associates committed wrongdoing and jeopardized national security. You must understand, and I think most people do at this point, that Hillary Clinton's not only desire to hide information, but she puts national security secrets at risk by doing so. Her motive to hide things is deceptive, but she wanted to hide it because of the Freedom of Information Act. She wanted to put it on a server that she could say and do whatever she wanted without risk of being exposed. That is criminal. Hillary Clinton is about as dirty as it comes. And this is now going to be, I guess, looked into further, and it should be, and nobody should care if it's 11 days or 3 minutes before the election. She should be discovered as being that fraud.
Well, the bottom line, everybody knows a charitable organization should not be making people rich. The Clinton Foundation is making the Clintons rich. Even Chelsea came out, and they have emails that proves that Chelsea comes out and said, hey, looks like you're hustling people. Those are her words. You're
right.
Hustling people.
Also,
they asked one guy for a $4 million donation to the Clinton Foundation, and when he says yes, it's, by the way, we want you to also hire Bill Clinton as a consultant for $3 million. I mean, what are you going to say to the Clintons? A lot of people end up dead when they say, no, I'm just kidding. But
so Hillary Clinton is not as pure as the Democrats want her to be.
She's not as pure as the wind-driven snow, that's for sure.
Well, here's the deal. Trump has his issues, and the Republican Party has rejected them outright every time you turn around, which is why
Trump's not a criminal.
He's not a criminal, but
he's not a criminal.
He's certainly a guy that most Republicans don't like. Yet on the Hillary side, Democrats love her. I mean, seriously, I would love to hear from a Democrat who says, I hate Hillary, but I'm voting for her anyway. 454-1366. 454-1366, because they don't exist. The Democrat who is going to vote for Hillary looks past her problems.
The one that will admit to it doesn't exist. There's some out there, but they won't admit to it.
The same woman that is running for office now is close to becoming Madam President. Clinton's State Department spent $5.4 million on crystal stemware.
I thought you were going to say crystal meth for a party or something.
This has also been released just today. The Hillary Clinton State Department spent millions of tax dollars on lavish goods and frivolous incentives, such as the $5 million on a no-bid contract for crystal stemware. And get this, $630,000 to increase Facebook likes on the 4 State Department pages.
Unbelievable.
And that's money well spent. Because you can't have a State Department without Facebook likes. Are you freaking kidding me? What's next? Is there anything else that could happen under the Clinton people? I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Some are horrible people,
we could
horrible
do,
human beings.
seriously,
Who cares?
with a couple of Sharpies, unlimited supply of pizzas.
That's just unbelievable.
We could.
Are the Clintons
save
please tell
billions of dollars? they're out of control, and nobody seems to care, and nobody's going to do anything about it because they are the king and queen of D.C. They are.
The FBI's opened the investigation to Clinton's email. Will it become anything? Do you really care? 454-1366. Next, Trump's first 100 days, or what I like to say is Pence's first 100 days. Wait till you hear them. Actually, very, very good. Your phone call's next, 454-1366. Lee Brothers, 820, WNTW.
That's a fat jack. We could.
I trust the American people.
We would.
And
Maybe
I
someday
trust her
we will.
with my life.
Bill Clinton trusts Hillary Clinton, and the FBI probe is reopened. 454-1366. Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW. Hillary's got her issues, and so does Trump. So most people are saying, you know what, I'm not going to vote for either one of them. But have you looked at the first 100-day plan by the Trump-Pence ticket? By the way, I've come to embrace Pence for president. That's how I'm voting this election time. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Mike Pence.
Mike Pence is a good guy.
Great guy. And it's super that he's on the ticket. But
Maybe we haven't heard of him before because there's no controversy around his name.
Right.
Maybe that's why a lot of us didn't know the gentleman.
There are 28 initiatives that Trump plans to accomplish his first 100 days.
And the first 27 are lock Hillary up in some way or some form of fashion.
I think the first 26. There's 2 others that he has that don't involve Hillary at all. Actually, some of these are very good, and I only want to share them with you because there's a contrast between Clinton and Trump here, and Trump's laying it out for you. Now, he's never done that in a debate. He's never been able to articulate that. You would never hear these things in any other, but he's actually laid them out here. There are 28 initiatives that he plans to accomplish the first time. One of them is to institute a hiring freeze on all federal employees to reduce the federal workforce through attrition. Now, do you think Hillary Clinton's going to do that?
No, she's going to create jobs in America by hiring federal
employees. That is a very good thing. If Trump does that, it'd be good. Here's something else he's going to do. He's going to require for every new federal regulation that 2 existing regulations be eliminated. Now, we've talked about that on our show. Trust me, listen. why don't people go to D.C. or to Richmond and look to repeal laws instead of make them? Now, if you want another regulation, what Trump is saying, you're going to have to eliminate 2 existing regulations.
And that's if you're a liberal puke and you think that's ridiculous, it's really not, because they have some of the dumbest laws on the books.
Of course. And that's what Trump said he's going to.
They're very dishonest people.
So Trump has 28 of these initiatives he's trying to implement. There's 2 of them. Here's another one. Lift the restrictions on the production of $50 trillion worth of job-producing energy reserves, shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. Now, what's Hillary going to do with that? $50 trillion of job-producing energy is in America. Hillary wants it under lock.
Trump wants us to be 100% energy independent, and we essentially are now. He wants it to stay that way.
Right.
Hillary, not so much.
He wants to lift the Obama-Clinton roadblocks to the Keystone Pipeline and other energy infrastructure. Of course he does. Do you think Hillary wants to do that? Now, this is a massive contrast that, by the way, hasn't been talked about in the campaign. You know what everybody thinks about? Everybody in politics right now is talking about 2 things. They're talking about Trump's comments about women, and they're talking about Hillary's emails. They're talking about 2 of the worst people on the planet running for office, but they're not talking about the policies. Folks, we are stuck with these 2 people. You now have a choice in what you want them to do.
Well, Trump, I don't believe Trump is a criminal.
No, he's not.
I don't believe he's part of the criminal element. However, Hillary on the other side, if there was a, what do they call it, a Don, she would be the head honcho over the political side of organized crime.
Right.
She's got tremendous hatred.
She's a sea hag.
Did you hear that?
She's got tremendous hatred.
I can't hear it at all.
Well, your headphones don't work?
I can hear you. I can't hear anything.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
What's wrong with
you? Can't hear a thing.
Oh, must be listen with your good ear. You got those silly, huge,
big. Spence?
You got those huge, big.
You're not hearing it. He's not hearing it either.
Big headphone things going on there. All right, so
you ever heard of a bird called a toucan?
Here's what Trump says of his 28 initiatives for his first 100 days. A Supreme Court pick in the mold of Scalia. He wants to cancel federal funding to sanctuary cities. He wants to remove the 2 million criminal illegal immigrants that are here now.
He wants to turn the Great Mall into a golf course, a Trump golf course.
That'd be okay.
I'm just kidding.
That's not in here, but that would be a fine scenario too.
Yeah.
He wants to implement his tax cuts, but one of the biggest things that Trump wants to do in his first 100 days is work with Congress on a school choice opportunity act for all children across the country. That would change.
Work on it, not get it passed in the first 100 days, because that'll never happen.
No, but he
not
wants
in the first 100 days. But to get it started, yeah.
Yeah, good plan. 454-1366, Lee Brothers 820, WNTW. Did you hear this? The Chesapeake City Hall is going to display our motto, "In God We Trust." The Chesapeake City Council has decided to display the motto, "In God We Trust," at City Hall. I mean, come on.
How dare them?
How dare them? The council approved the display as a vote 7-0 this week.
Where is this?
This is Chesapeake.
Chesapeake?
Yes.
In this state?
Yes.
In Virginia?
Yes.
I don't believe it.
What is going on? How is this humanly possible? You would think that somebody would stand up and not allow this thing.
And poo-poo it.
Yeah.
The stupidity.
So the
you would think many people would come down there and poo-poo it.
And by the way, we're complete fans of this. Don't hear us wrong. This is a great idea. The whole idea of our country was based on this idea that of God and natural laws, and this makes perfect sense. And by the way, it's our national motto.
2 or 3 people are going to show up and raise Cain, and they'll probably say, okay, we won't do it.
And then the press
The
will
crowd's
say,
too big.
Huge crowd, protest, in God we trust, and shows 3 people with a sign, and that's it. Meanwhile, all of America is completely fine with this, but somehow that's how progressivism has beat us back to the point where this is now somehow a news flash. I mean, listen, it's a front page of a story. Chesapeake City Hall to display "In God We Trust" motto. Oh no!
How dare them?
You believe that? That's
I
where
do.
we are. This, by the way, was started by Congressman Randy Forbes. He said this would help Americans recognize there are priorities bigger than themselves, and this is where America used to be. And this is the way to fix the hearts and minds of the American people. Good for you, Chesapeake. You're applauded by the Lee brothers.
Yes.
All right, coming up, there's things on the ballot that you need to vote for next week, and one of them is a right to work. It's a constitutional amendment, and a letter a transgender wrote about using the bathroom here in Virginia, and the Supreme Court just announced, just now, they will hear the case. That is
we
interesting.
need to tie up the court's time in
Right.
cases like that
because we can't decide
these are
bathrooms
important.
anymore.
These are important.
Thank goodness we have robes deciding which bathrooms we can use. All right,
Soon
check us
there'll
out.
be urinals in the women's restroom. Who knows?
Check us out at 820theanswer.com. 3 great videos for you. Click on the photo of the Lee brothers.
And they'll need them.
The transgender letter next on 820. Lee Brothers, WNTW. Virginia citizens and American patriots, the Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW. My name is Scott Lee. My co-host, my friend, and my brother
Sitting to his left, sometimes it's far left.
is Richard Lee. So the Supreme Court today said it will decide whether the Obama administration may require public school systems to let transgender students use bathrooms that align with their gender identity.
I guess the Supreme Court doesn't have anything better to do.
Is it not interesting to anyone who's listening that the Supreme Court will now decide who uses bathrooms? Is there something going on in our culture that's radically weird here? I mean, forever, since the beginning of time, we've had 2 bathrooms, only 2, men's and women's. And men use the men's restrooms and women use the women's restrooms. And it didn't matter what you thought in your head because that's not why we have restrooms the way we do. We didn't pick men's restrooms and women's restrooms based upon what you think you are. The restrooms are based upon what you biologically are. It has always been that way. It's been very, very simple. And now we have a Supreme Court, a court anywhere on the planet that is now going to say, wait a second, maybe we've been wrong about this for 5,000 years. It's just unbelievable to me.
It's unbelievable to me that the United States Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, is going to hear
It gets to decide where you poop.
this
Now,
case.
Look,
They should poo-poo this thing and move on.
Exactly. They just need to flush this. Nope.
Exactly.
So many
No
analogies
pun
here.
intended.
So many puns. It's
If
incredible.
they spill any on a seat, clean it up
That's right.
and be done with it.
So this is all about Virginia. This entire case is about this Gavin Grime, who's a senior at Gloucester High School here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the home of Jefferson, Madison, and Henry, who, by the way, if they're catching wind of this, they're like, what in the name of Sam Hill is going on? Jefferson had regulated the Supreme Court to the basement. They didn't even have a place to be. That's how insignificant they were. Now they get to decide the restrooms that people are using based on what you think you are. You know what? It doesn't matter what you think you are, people. It really doesn't. You can think you're an alien from outer space. We're not going to make a restroom for you. It doesn't matter if you think you're an NBA basketball star when you're 5'2". You can't play in the NBA.
That was just wrong.
Nothing what you think matters. It only matters reality, what you are. Now, this Gavin Grime guy, girl, whatever, wrote today in the Washington Post, quote, if you told me 2 years ago that the Supreme Court was going to have to approve whether I could use the school restroom, I would have thought you were joking. Yeah. They're not. Get this, Gavin, listen to me right now. You can use the restroom. In fact, not only can you use the restroom that you are biologically right now, but the school gave you a special restroom.
They did. They actually designated a special restroom just for this particular individual.
This person.
That's not good enough.
And by the way, person might be the term here that we want to use. And person is exactly what Kane used when he was talking about being right-hand person.
Hillary Clinton's right-hand person.
Maybe Tim Kaine's a transgender.
Now he should
for a
be the
bathroom.
right-hand rapper. We'll explain that in a little while. The right-hand rapper.
We will. That's coming up. That's Pusha T, and Kane talked to him. So
Pusha T.
So here is
name.
Gavin Grime, trying to
Is
say
that a golfer or something?
that the Supreme Court is picking the restroom. They're not. This whole thing is a lie. There's a bigger con ever foisted upon mankind. So Gavin goes on to talk about in the article in the Washington Post today.
Is Gavin a young man that identifies as a young lady, or vice versa?
It's the other way.
You're sure? You're positive.
She is a woman. She is a girl trying to identify as a boy. Okay? Now, that's in the mind. That's not reality. But here's what she says. I don't even know how to address this. It's what he says. Quote, "At first, I used the nurse's office restroom. But after a couple of weeks of the long trips back and forth felt like stigmatizing and unnecessary. I was using men's restrooms in restaurants and shopping malls, so I told the principal I would like to use the boys' restroom at the school too." So you're using the restrooms in restaurants and shopping malls because you look like a guy. But reality is, if they knew you weren't a guy, you wouldn't be allowed to do it.
How old is this individual?
It's a 17-year-old
17
senior.
years old. If my 17-year-old daughter identified as a male, I wouldn't want her in the men's. I mean, there are things that she could be exposed to in the men's restroom, not in any kind of
most parents would
sordid
have a
or
problem with this.
evil way, but parents should have a problem with that.
Right,
they
should.
You're my daughter. You're not going to use the men's restroom.
Right.
I'm sorry. Later in life when you're an adult,
Maybe.
you can make that decision, but not now. Not right now.
She's got tremendous hatred.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Richard. Tremendous hatred. It's tremendous. This whole thing
Huge.
really is.
It's huge.
It's a joke. Now, Gavin goes on in the article to make it sound like we are some kind of heartless ogres who do not understand that all they want to do is use the restroom. And forever, I cannot understand this. We never moved. We've been standing here since the existence of human beings on the planet, held the same position, and now we're the bigots?
We're the evildoers. Don't you love that word?
The stupidity.
Yeah.
Evildoers.
So Gavin goes on to say, quote, "I continue to suffer daily.
Suffer.
Because of the school board's decision to make my bathroom use a matter of public debate." Now, Gavin,
you made this a matter of public debate. You put it on the forefront. You're the one that put it out there.
Nobody dragged you out, Gavin.
If it weren't for you and your parents, no one would even know.
Right.
They might have an idea, but they wouldn't know for sure.
He said, or she said, "I feel the humiliation every time I need to use the restroom, and every minute I try to hold it in hopes of avoiding the long walk to the nurse's office."
That's too much
No
information.
kid, I guarantee you right now, if you told every kid in the school, "I'm going to give you your private restroom, and you can go there anytime. It's just on the other side of school," they'd go, "Fine. I want my own restroom, dadgummit." If someone came to me and said, "Scott, at work, at the radio station here, you're going to get your own restroom." Really? That's fantastic.
You'd see that as a promotion.
I would see that as a promotion.
You'd have it all decorated
And yet-
up and painted with Christmas lights tinkling.
Exactly. And in this case,
That'd
it's
be
a
so
negative.
wrong.
Why wouldn't Gavin go, "I got my own restroom"?
You'd be putting a deadbolt lock on it and everything.
Instead, he turns it into a negative. "I have to walk to the other side of the school."
Or run, depending on how bad he had to
How
go.
bad you have to go. So, look, I understand Gavin isn't happy with this, but Gavin
is anyone
you
else, Gavin.
you are taking the entire world and turning it on its head, and you're appalled by it? Gavin, the idea that men use men's restrooms and women use women's restrooms is not a foreign concept. Gavin, you're the one who is turning the world upside down. Do not get upset when most Americans go, "That doesn't seem right." Don't turn us into some kind of hate mongers because we believe that men should use men's restrooms and women should use women's restrooms.
And if you think you're going to get a book deal out of this, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
No, it probably will. That'll probably come to be the
You're
case.
probably right. It would be a movie.
Right. So at the end of the letter, Gavin says, quote, "If the Supreme Court does take my case," and they did today, they said they would, "I hope that justice can see me and the rest of the transgender community of who we are, just people
Trying to use the
and-
other bathroom in school.
It's just not that simple. It's not. Your phone call's next, 454-1366, 454-1366. There's a constitutional amendment on the ballot. We'll share that with you also next. Lee Brothers, 820, WNTW. That would be kind of fun. I mean, for Trump to be president,
her up or firing him?
You have to admit, if Trump as president would be a hilarious. I mean, hilarious.
4 years of
think about
solid opportunities for talk radio.
All the things that he said throughout.
I have a very strong call. I have a very strong call.
I mean, he's just perfect. I mean, it would be so great.
I love babies. I hear that baby crying. I like it.
I like hearing babies cry.
I like it. And then the best one is when he said he was going to punch that guy in the face. Remember that? He wanted to hit that guy so hard. What was that one?
I wanted to hit a couple of those speakers so hard.
He's the best. The best at making us look silly is what he's good at. All right, on the ballot, not this Tuesday, but next, because in case you don't know, we're days from the election. Some of you might have already voted, and if you did, you probably walked in the booth and went, what the heck is this constitutional amendment thing all about? There's one on the ballot here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Virginia Constitution can only be amended after 2 sessions of the General Assembly, separate sessions of the General Assembly, approve the same law, then it goes on the ballot for you to vote on. So the idea was there to make it difficult, that the General Assembly would have a chance to change over hands, then vote on the exact same wording and everything of the law, and that's what happened here. It's a right-to-work amendment. A right-to-work amendment. Now, most people are going to get this and go, Virginia's a right-to-work state. Here's what it essentially is. It's fundamental to the right of anyone really to work. What it does is it guarantees that people will have a right to work even if they prefer or refuse to join a union. So if a company has a union, you don't have to join the union to work there. The right-to-work laws prevent governments from requiring companies to be unionized in order to qualify for contracts, or employees to be required to join a union as a condition of employment, which we just kind of talked about. The Virginia Code prohibits denying any citizen the right to work currently, right now. It is the law in Virginia. We are a right-to-work state. These things are good. This is what makes Virginia a very friendly place to do business. A lot of states are right to work, and some have changed from right to work to pro-union, and that is detrimental to the cause of freedom and liberty, which makes many people say this is a fundamental right that should be enshrined in the Constitution, and you have a chance to do that on Tuesday. I mean, you won't be able to do it this Tuesday. You could try, but it's the week from this Tuesday when you'll have a chance to do that. So some have said, why would you want to enshrine this in the Constitution if it's already a right in Virginia? And the answer to that is simple. Look what happens very, very quickly with the change in our culture and liberalism and progressivism. In fact, you could probably get a judge somewhere to rule that, nope, unions have a right to force you. I mean, this is how crazy our culture is moving at such a rapid pace. Tomorrow,
they'll trick you into joining if
they'll
they can.
trick you into exactly.
They'll tell you, oh, you don't want to join, no problem. Here, just sign right here. And if you don't read the document and sign it, I know someone that this happened to, worked in a union work company, and she said, look, I don't want to join the union. I said, okay, that's fine. No problem. You don't have to join. Just sign this right here.
Uh-oh.
She signed it. Guess what? She joined the union when she signed that paper. Not kidding.
I'm guessing if you just polled
no joke
the Americans, they would think that there should be a guarantee of a fundamental right to work without having to sign a paper. That is one of the rights that the Constitution should protect. That's why I think we ought to vote yes on this amendment in 10 days. And I'm betting that you would probably believe the same thing, that putting this in the Virginia Constitution is the right way to go. Here's what the ballot will read. The ballot on Tuesday will read this. Should Article 1 of the Constitution of Virginia be amended to prohibit any agreement or combination between an employer and a labor union or labor organization whereby Non-members of the union organization are denied the right to work for the employer. Membership to the union organization is made a condition of employment by such an employer, or the union organization acquires an employment monopoly in any such enterprise. Now, most people just glassy-eyed went over. They're like, what? I got to read this? Wait a minute. Can I just vote on a name?
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe it.
That's what's going to happen. I want you to become educated on this. When you walk into the ballot, you ought to know exactly what this is. This means that you don't have to join a union. It's really that simple. I wish it would just word that. Then people go, oh, okay, I don't want to join. Boom, click. Off you go. No kneecaps broken here. Vote yes on question 1. Vote.
If you want, get a permanent marker and put 1 on your hand with a dot and then a Y.
That way you know.
And then we'll tell you so on and
or
so
you
on how to vote.
Just send us your email and
Yeah,
email us right before.
We'll tell you how to vote.
We'll tell you how to vote.
On everything.
That's right. Your phone call's next, 454-1366, Lee Brothers 820 WNTW.
Richmond's beacon of truth in the land of the free and the home of the brave. This is the Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW.
I wanted to hit a couple of those speakers so hard.
And get the baby out of here.
Lee Brothers 820 WNTW. Big arguments coming up. There's going to be a big argument between the Lee brothers. You get to witness what's been a family feud since the beginning of Halloween. Coming up at 5 o'clock, Lee brothers are going to argue ghosts and whether they exist or not.
Of course they exist.
Richard has had
There's
this
several
position.
in the building with us right now.
This is unbelievable. He's had this position for forever, since you were a little kid, and you thought you saw a ghost. And I said, Richard, calm down. Of course, I was 4.
Yeah, you weren't even talking.
I was
a little kid. You weren't even
You were
speaking.
trying to scare me with these
You're giving
stories.
me
I said,
sign
stop.
language.
I've never seen a ghost. Don't believe they exist. Richard's just the opposite. That
I know
conversation
for a fact that they do.
and that argument at 5 o'clock with a real Ghostbuster. A real Ghostbuster
Can't
who
wait.
lives here
I
in
can't
Richmond,
wait.
Virginia.
Have I got stories for him?
Exactly. I think he might have some stories for you. And he's going to try to convert me into this this ghost belief system. All right, coming up, Tim Kaine and Pusha T. Is that
Pusha
it?
T.
Or is it Pusha A?
Pusha
It's
T
Pusha
now.
T. Tim Kaine sat down with a rapper.
What an unbelievable
This
name.
is just unbelievable,
Pusha T.
this entire story.
I guess he couldn't be Ice-T because Ice-T's already taken. So now he's Pusha T.
Yeah, what's with the T's?
What's with the Pusha? I mean,
exactly. What's with his name? What's the guy's first name? Is his first
What's his
name
real
Pusha?
name?
Is his last name
it's
T?
probably Bob.
It's
Something
probably
like that.
Mike Smith or something.
You can't have a rapper named Bob.
Doesn't work very well.
No.
So we'll share that story
Pusha
with you.
T word.
And that conversation. You won't believe it. And what they believe are politics. The politics of Pusha T. That next. Check us out, 820theanswer.com. Click on the picture of the Lee Brothers. Takes you to 3 great videos of the day. Lee Brothers, 454-1366, 820 WNTW. So Obamacare is a total disaster, we told you. Does poverty cause crime? The Richmond Times-Dispatch public square meeting said it does. Interesting. And Tim Kaine, he endorses Pusha T.
Pusha T. Now.
Pusha T. Pusha T. Pusha T.
I don't even understand the lyrics to the songs.
Well,
Most of the lyrics are dirty words.
They
how do
are.
you say?
We blocked them out. Lee Brothers up and running. 820 WNTW. In the molded Jefferson, Madison, and Henry. My name is Scott Lee.
Hi, I'm Richard Lee. Thanks for joining us this beautiful fall afternoon. It's like summer or late spring is returning this weekend.
That's awesome.
Beautiful temperatures, sunny skies.
Perfection.
High in the 80s on Sunday, upper 70s. Reaching for 80 tomorrow. It's going to be just gorgeous weekend.
All right, coming up at 5 o'clock, the family feud begins. It always does this time of year. Richard and I argue about ghosts, whether they're real or not. That's at 5 o'clock. But first Tim Kaine and Pusha T got together to promote Clinton and Kaine.
Did they do a duet? I'm dying to know.
Well, first of all, I did not know there was such a character as Pusha T, so I Googled the lyrics, and then I had to delete half of them so I could play it.
Yeah, I've been killing this shit. Yeah, I've been hard in the paint, not a single assist. Yeah, I've been flicking that wrist. Yeah, I've been cooking that now they with this. Yeah, I've been killing it.
All right, so we had to take out some of the.
Had to
obviously.
take out a lot of words so it would not be profanity.
Was that music?
Forced upon your. That's to me. That's not music. To
What
me,
is that?
That's proof that ghosts exist. That's an evil sound or something in the background.
Proof that ghosts exist.
Do you want a vice president in Washington who would call that art?
Well, here's what he said about it.
I'm really happy to meet you. I'm so impressed with not only your art, but that you are speaking a message to people and helping advance our country and our Commonwealth.
What?
So all good. You have the real ability to influence them, and thanks for helping us out.
Are you kidding me?
Influence and express your with that foul language. In Tim Kaine's defense, maybe there's, I don't know, artwork on this man's bathroom walls or something. Maybe somebody drawn something in there. I don't know. But if he referred to what Pusha T calls music, that's not art.
I'm really happy to meet you. I'm so impressed with not only your art, but that you are speaking a message.
Speaking a message. What's the message?
That's not even proper. That's not even proper grammar, is it? Speaking a message.
Speaking a message.
I'm so impressed with you speaking a message. So, does he have like two fingers out on each hand, going like this, across his chest when he goes speaking a message?
I don't know.
Probably.
But Tim Kaine hooked up with this rap star. They got together and talked about how great it was to see each other.
They got together.
Great moment on stage, man.
Thank you, Pusha T. It's great to be with you. Two Virginia guys in Miami.
Hang on. Great moment on stage, man. Yeah, thank you, Pusha T. Listen to Kaine. Listen to what he says like.
Great moment on stage, man.
Thank you, Pusha T. It's great to be with you. Two Virginia guys in Miami, Florida. I mean, it couldn't get better. Yeah.
2 up, 2 down. I never really thought.
What?
Two Virginia guys, Miami, Florida. Couldn't get better.
What is that?
And Pusha T goes, 2 up, 2 down.
Thank you, Pusha T. It's great to be with you. Two Virginia guys in Miami, Florida. I mean, it couldn't get better.
Now listen to that. That doesn't even sound like Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine's got his right hand out, 2 fingers stuck out, and he's waving it up and down.
He's waving up and down.
Like,
this is the next Vice President of the United States?
Thank you, Pusha T. It's great to be with you. Two Virginia guys in Miami, Florida. I mean, it couldn't get better.
Couldn't get better. Where did you come up with that? Couldn't get better?
Get it better.
Come on.
What are you
in
the Bronx or something? Couldn't get better. Go get the butter.
Thank you, Pusha T.
Oh, that's perfect.
Thank you, Pusha T.
Thank you, Pusha T. Can we keep that one forever? When he's Vice President of the United States.
Thank you, Pusha T.
That's perfect. That's hilarious.
This bread couldn't get better. Go get the butter. I want some butter on my bread.
All right, so that's bad. All right, so they talked about Barack Obama in the White House.
Great moment on stage, man.
Yeah,
thank you, Pusha T. It's great to be with you.
Good to be
Two Virginia guys.
Yeah, good.
In defining moment and knowing that anything is possible.
Just like the election of President Obama moved us forward as a nation because there had never been an African-American president. The election of Hillary Clinton will move us forward as a nation because there's never been a woman president.
Is that really?
Well, that's a reason to vote.
Oh, isn't it?
That's a reason to vote. Is that why you joined the ticket?
Yeah.
Little Timmy, little Kaine.
So wait a second.
Is that why you joined the ticket? Because
will that make us better?
It's going to move America forward. Move it forward.
That's going to make us better.
Do we have a sound effect of a slamming cell door? Clank.
That would be great.
Move America forward right into the cell. Clank.
Now, Kaine couldn't meet with Pusha T without talking about race.
On a government level, there's clearly progress, but how do we move forward when we know there's still systematic racism holding?
All right, hang on a second.
Systematic racism.
It's systematic now.
It's structured.
There's nothing you can do about it.
They use the Excel spreadsheet.
It's systematic racism.
To plan the events of racism, there's an Excel spreadsheet.
Now,
you can get the program at any local office supply.
Now, here's what listen to what Tim Kaine's reaction is to systematic racism. Listen to what he said. What he should say is, Pusha, if I can call you Pusha. Is that your first name?
Call me Little Kaine.
If I can
Word.
What he should say is, Pusha, stop, okay? America is not a systematic racist America. But that's not what he says here.
No, he doesn't agree with him. I mean, I can't imagine he agrees with him, but
really?
I don't know how he could agree with him. That's a load of dino dung. But if he does agree with him, let's hear what he says.
Back.
There is in housing, there is in employment, there is in the criminal justice system, there is in voting rights. So there's just more progress to achieve, but we keep moving forward.
What?
We keep moving forward with...
Wait a minute. Housing's racist? We got racism in our housing. We got racism in voting. In voting, you're telling me
school,
how is that
criminal justice system?
Unbelievable.
In voting, because you can't vote in multiple precincts. It's just how it works.
Exactly. That's why it's racist, because you can't vote anywhere you want, whenever you want.
Yeah,
Tim
as many
Kaine,
times as you want. And we'll drive you there. We'll drive you around.
He is unbelievable to me. This is the next vice president of the United States. This is what you Democrat, leftist, Marxist, socialists want, is somebody who thinks America is racist to its core. It's systematic. You can't do anything about it. And we're just stuck there. Doggone it, if America would just stop being racist in our housing. How is it racist in housing?
Little Kane's going to break his new hit record this weekend. It's systematic. I can only imagine.
I need more evidence than you people on the left. You Pusha T, and Kaine telling me that America's racist in housing and school. What was the other one he said? Can we go back and play a little bit of that? Here, what was it?
There is in housing, there is in employment, there is in
employment. Employment is now racist too. Tim Kaine, how are you going to fix this?
Everything is racist.
How is Kaine going to fix this? Can you solve this, please, Tim? Because it's systematic. It's in our employment. It's in our housing. It's in our all these other things he mentioned. What a crisis!
Throw some profanity in there, and you've got the lyrics for the first part of the song.
Yeah, I've been killing this shit. Yeah, I've been hard in the paint, not a single assist. Yeah, I've been flicking that wrist. Yeah, I've been cooking that shit. Yeah, I've been killing this. Yeah, I've been hard in the paint, not a single assist.
You have to block out half of it because you can't even listen to it.
Is he saying yabba?
I don't even know what he's saying.
Is that anyone can tell us what he's saying? For Kaine?
Is this what you want?
Kaine?
By the way, there's more on this. There's more conversation.
Every time you hear it pop, there's foul language being pulled out of this song. And here's the potentially the next vice president of the United States sitting there listening to Pusha T and his new filth-riddled song. And when he's done with it, play with
I'm really happy to meet you. I'm so impressed with not only your art, but that you are
so impressed with your art.
So impressed with your art and the message that you be speaking
and sending. He said sending, I think. Did
he
say
be
speaking?
Play it.
No, I don't know. I can't.
He says
play it.
speaking.
I have no idea what it is.
He says the message you speaking.
All right, it's not helpful. Not helpful.
Scott and Richard Lee, the yin and yang of talk radio, the Lee brothers on 820 WNTW.
Pusha T and Tim Kaine together. Two on a stage.
We're here at the Liberty City Block Party. I had the opportunity to introduce Tim Kaine, speak to the crowd, and just reinforce the idea of getting out to vote.
We need to think about what's important to us, what's important for the community, and we need to pick Clinton and Kaine. Recruit our volunteers, man. Knock on every door that we can. Call every phone that we can. Let our family and friends know. We're trying to make a change.
A change?
Stronger together.
Hillary's not a change.
What do you mean make a change?
What are you talking about?
He just threw that out there. He's not trying to make a change. He's trying to create more of the same.
Exactly right. There you change.
He didn't even realize. He probably didn't even realize.
So Tim Kaine sits with Pusha T. By the way, Richard and I have just learned that who Pusha T is. He's quite the rapper. He's from apparently Virginia. Didn't know that
quite
either.
The rapper? You say I've never heard of him.
Quite the rapper. I've never heard of him either. You think you and I, Mr. Pop Culture, we are pop culture.
But again, I remember one day not that long ago when someone came into us and told us, we're going to bump in from a break with a song by Lady Gaga. And we both looked at each other and said, Lady who?
Right.
Remember that? It's called
sorry.
Poker Face.
That was a long time ago.
Poker Face? There's a song called Poker Face.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Said yeah.
That was the first time we heard Poker
Face. Never heard of.
Yeah,
first time I'd ever heard of Lady Gaga.
And we didn't even know Poker Face. What do you mean, like the game poker? And then okay. Well, I didn't know what she was talking about.
We caught on quickly.
All right, so Pusha T is apparently into politics. Loves Tim Kaine and his leftist politics. But listen to the question he asked Kaine about schools.
Yet your zip code is still a huge factor in the quality of education one may receive. How can we fix that?
You know what? He's right. He's exactly right. And how do you fix that? And we have
go,
talked about
Pusha
this.
T. You go,
Pusha,
dog.
I got to tell you, man.
You
and I
verbiage?
agree on this, Pusha.
Is that the right verbiage, dog?
Dog.
You go, dog.
The Lee brothers agree with Pusha. Pusha, you're right. These schools are locked into these zip codes, and you're locked into these schools. And he's asking a really good question about why. Why is your education dependent on your zip code. And we've been saying this forever. Let's see how Tim Kaine answers it.
Yet your zip code is still a huge factor in the quality of education one may receive. How can we fix that?
We want to expand early childhood education, and then we want to make higher education more affordable. So we've got three proposals there. We want to make college debt-free for everybody, enable it to be tuition-free if your family makes less than $125,000 a year.
That's not the answer.
That's not even.
That's horrible.
So
you know
how did Pusha T respond to that? Did he go, great answer, or did he say, dude, you didn't answer my question at all? Not even
why
close.
Democrats can't answer this question.
No, they can't answer it.
Because that's what they want. They want this idea of a segregated school district where you can only shop at that school that's in your zip code. Pusha T is actually right. I can't believe this. We agree with Pusha T. We need school choice. We need options.
That
the best thing for Pusha T.
We agree with Pusha T. That should be a bumper sticker, really. But the thing is, if they fix the schools,
then what?
Then you don't have a question coming out of Pusha T's mouth like this. You don't. There's no need to ask that question.
Could you imagine if Kaine would have said, "Hey, Pusha," he's got to have a first name. I can't call him Pusha. Hey, John, whatever. Fred, John, Bill.
Get Pusha T, Fred Pusha T over here.
Here's the answer.
Call
to
for
this.
Fred Pusha T.
You want the answer to this zip code where you're locked into school and poverty? It's called school choice. Give them options. There are 8 more local schools denied accreditation. 7 of them are in the capital of the Commonwealth, right here in Richmond. And guess where they are? They're not out in the suburbs. They're not in these certain zip codes. They're in the crappy ones. And Kaine says, who cares about that? You just hang out there.
We'll put your kids in school earlier at a younger age, and then we're going to blow smoke up your butt about free college tuition and so forth. And let's hear more about your song, Pusha T. Let's hear your song again.
You have said, Richard, since we've been on the air, there should be no such thing as a failing school.
That's right. Those terms should not exist.
And you know why they exist? Because we don't have a free market in schools.
Right.
We have a government system. Pusha T, you're being lied to. You bought into the liberal leftist idea. You're dead on that people are stuck in these crappy schools, but your solution isn't Tim Kaine. It's not Hillary Clinton. It's freedom. That's your solution.
The schools in Washington, D.C. just sucked, for lack of a better term. They were pathetic.
Right.
They created competition in the schools up there, and they all came right up to where they were model schools. There were no failing schools in D.C.
Competition. Forget these stupid zip codes. Pusha, I got to tell you, you're making me like you. Until you get to the next question, we'll share that with you next. And your phone calls.
Your words are happening.
454-1366.
I don't know if that sounded right or not.
454-1366. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW.
John in Chesterfield, welcome to the program. You're on with the Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW. Hello, John.
Buenas tardes, hermanos Lee.
It's John Lee. How you doing?
Hey, John.
I'm doing just great. Hey, guys, listening to Pusha T and Little Timmy, what a great duo. I mean, wow. Talking about the systemic racism in America, how things haven't changed. Was it the systemic racism that got Barack Obama elected, and Loretta Lynch and people like this appointed, plus Sotomayor on the Supreme Court?
Right.
Well, what are they talking about? Because I personally don't see it. What I see is reverse racism, to be honest with you. But these people are crazy, and listening to Tim Kaine's what would you call that? Pseudo street lingo of his was that was embarrassing.
Yeah, I think Tim Kaine is John. Thanks for the call, Tim. I think he was pandering at best. I don't think he wanted to sit with Pusha T for 10 minutes. Now I would.
Some of what he said was the words you're speaking or something like that.
It's just crazy. And systemic racism, you're right, John. It doesn't exist in America. I'm tired of people saying it. I'm tired of Tim Kaine and politicians perpetuating it. Makes me sick. It's not the America I know. All right, check us out, 820theanswer.com. 3 great videos there. Coming up, more on Obamacare next. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW. I don't like that one. But crank this up. It's Friday.
Crank it up.
The occasional mispronounced word is by Richard.
That's Scott.
Lee
100%.
Brothers, 820 WNTW. My name is Scott Lee. My co-host, my friend, and my brother
Sitting
is
to
Richard.
his left, sometimes his far
Okay,
left.
sitting to my left is
Yeah.
Richard Lee. The Affordable Care Act is a boondoggle. It's a con foisted upon mankind. You've been lied to. And guess who knows it? Pusha T knows it. And he talked to Tim Kaine about it.
I know Secretary Clinton has done a lot in her career to move health care forward. Can you tell us what she wants to do in the future administration to continue that progress?
What she wants to do going forward is President Obama, obviously made a huge impact on this country by getting the Affordable Care Act passed. We're going to keep what's working, and then we will find ways to improve how we cover people and the cost of health insurance.
You can't control the cost. Government has never
handle the truth.
The government can't control costs. It never has. Why do you leftists keep doing this? Why do you Marxists not look at all history and think, you know what? Governments don't control costs. They make it worse.
And
look at college education.
Pusha T said that Hillary Clinton has done a lot for health care in the past. And what is she going to do with future administrations? Anyway, if you look back at what Hillary Clinton put together when Billy Bob Brubeck got elected the first time, as far as health care goes, you think Obamacare is bad?
Yeah, it's a single-payer system. It was
you
awful.
Look back at hers, and everyone, Democrats, Republicans alike, said, this is unbelievably bad.
Tim Kaine, you cannot fix this without getting the free market involved. The problem with Obamacare now is there is no free market. You've got the insurance companies in the marketplace being forced to insure people who are in desperate need of it, or have pre-existing conditions, which cost them that's why the premiums are going up. People are bailing on it. But not only do premiums rise, but you have fewer choices. Virginia is now facing fewer choices or none at all when buying health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Next year, only one insurer will sell the coverage in 28 of Virginia's independent cities or counties. Only one.
That's if they take down all the boundaries, pull Obamacare back, flush it down the appropriate toilet, because I'm sure it would stop most of them up. Take down all the boundaries.
Right.
The cost would come down.
Competition.
It would be so much more affordable.
I don't understand it.
They set the rules. They put the fences up, and they don't let them sell over the borders.
Right.
They don't let them do that. And who's the government to say who can sell? That's living proof that lobbyists exist and it works, because that's what caused all of that in the first place.
I'll tell you what else is living proof. The ignorance of some of us American people. And I say ignorance, not moronic, just ignorant. They're ignorant of the facts. Jimmy Kimmel went a man on the street and said to people, Obama's premiums have gone up in health care. Isn't that a good thing?
Good news today about Obamacare. Premiums will be increasing by 25%. That's double digits. Are you psyched?
Yeah. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Did you think Obama could pull it off?
I think Obama does a pretty good job. I believe in him.
Thanks to President Obama, premiums will increase by double digits. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah, Obama promised to raise the premiums, and he did it. Do you want to thank him, or?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Obama.
Are you
It's like they're talking to rocks.
Are you kidding
or
me?
they're talking to a big, massive wooden fence post.
Right.
They're thick as a brick and dumb as a rock.
This isn't the end of it. When you listen to this, you're almost like, no wonder people like Tim Kaine and Hillary Clinton are able to pull the wool over people's eyes. They actually believe that government is the answer to this, that government can make this better. These people don't even know what a premium is.
To raise your premiums in Obamacare.
Do you feel like you finally have the high premiums that you deserve?
Yeah, definitely. Or at least my parents do.
Yeah. What are they going to do with all of that extra premium money that they're paying?
I don't know. Buy stuff?
Nope.
Great. And just for the people at home, could you explain real quick what healthcare premiums are and why it's great that they're increasing?
They're just, healthcare stuff that are premium, and they're going up because it's better to go higher than to go lower.
What? This is unbelievable. This makes you just want to scream. Because who thinks this way? Are there people really going to vote that think this
You
way?
couldn't fake this stuff. I mean, these people are unbelievably.
The stupidity.
No, that's
She's got tremendous hatred.
Isn't that mind-boggling?
You shake your head because these people really exist. This is really
And
happening
they're voting.
in our country.
They're voting.
They're voting. And here's who they're voting for. They're voting for liberal Democrats because liberal Democrat is a bumper sticker. Free health care, free college, raise the minimum wage, all which are really large cons that are easily bought into.
They're cons. Never going to happen.
Never.
Do you think this will go down as one of President Obama's greatest contributions to this country, raising those premiums double digits?
Yeah, I think he's going to go out with a bang. I think he's done a lot, but the way he's going now is going to be the best. A gangster.
Double digits are pretty gangster.
Yeah, they are.
Would triple digits be even more gangster?
More gangster, even the more the better.
Quadruple digits?
Yes.
How high would you like to see premiums go, ideally?
5 digits.
Are your friends and family excited to be finally spending more premium money?
I wouldn't say psyched. It's just a thing. It's like we talk about it. It's in the air. It's never really like a set thing that I feel like all of my friends and me are talking about or something like that, which it probably should be, but it's not.
It's almost like you guys don't even understand it at all.
Yeah. Most likely, yeah.
Exactly. It's like you don't
Exactly.
even understand it at all.
At all.
This is a scary place we are in our country today.
It truly is.
We can't believe we got here, but I'm going to tell you something. We had a lot of help getting here. There is a political class that likes this kind of voter. There is a political class that purposely tries to deceive. Obama didn't walk out on a microphone and say you're going to lose your doctor, you're going to lose your health care,
He said
the
none of
government's
that
going to
would
make
happen.
premiums go up. He didn't do that. Obama went out to a microphone and promised you the exact opposite. Now, people who knew history and how economics works knows that when the government gets involved, it gets worse. Those people knew this would happen. Yet the entire idea of the Democrat Party is dependent upon these type of people. If you're a Democrat today, you've got to wonder, what is going on? How did you become a Democrat? I mean, what happened? Someone drop you when you're a kid on your head? I mean, what is the deal? And I used to be more compassionate for Democrats because I just think they really didn't know. But when you hear this stuff, you're thinking the party of Democrats wants this. They deliberately want you in failing schools, or they would give you an option to get out. They deliberately want you ignorant so that they can treat you like serfs and peasants and get you hooked on government. Not local government, but this massive, unregulated, out-of-control federal government that has the power to take your freedom that you willingly gave them for a fake utopia promise. The promise that they'll handle everything. The promise that you'll get free college. It is fake utopia that doesn't exist.
And never will.
It is a lie. What's interesting to me is there are so many in the mainstream media who haven't figured this out yet. We got, there is a clip of, I think it was CNN or ABC, that talked about how shocked they were that the premiums were going up. Something must have happened.
We need a bigger understanding of why this is happening, because the idea was not only to spread coverage around, but that by spreading the coverage around, not only would it help people get more preventative care, but then it would ultimately bring the cost down. And instead, the premiums are skyrocketing.
And so the question is, what happened?
Yeah, and who's profiting on this? Or is the way the law was set up failed? It's a really interesting
How do
story.
these people not get this? Richard and I have never been labeled as the smart ones in the room. But we knew this. We knew this in the very beginning. And yet the ones who call themselves the elitists, smarter than anyone, who run college universities and their professors, are shocked. The CBS reporters don't know what happened. Come on. You removed every aspect of controlling costs. That is the consumer involved in the purchase. When you remove the consumer from the purchase, cost is irrelevant. Obama did that. And he promised you he wouldn't. And you elected him again. And you're about to have Madam President and do the same thing. Your phone call's next, 454-1366. 454-1366. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW.
She's got tremendous hatred.
Lee Brothers 820 WNTW. 454-1366. Phone lines are open, 454-1366. Richmond Times-Dispatch puts on a public square from time to time. Had 130 people show up at the 68th public square. The conversation was police shootings caused by poverty or acts of prejudice. Now, they say that poverty is the root of some of society's biggest problems. I could not disagree more radically. Poverty is a state of finances. That's all it is. To have a crisis or to have a problem from it would mean something moral, wouldn't it? Poverty doesn't cause crime. No, listen, you leftists, poverty does not cause crime. An example of this is the Great Depression. Why wasn't there mass anarchy during the Great Depression? Because, or I could reword it this way. Let me just ask you a question. If you were broke today, would you resort to violence? Would you be breaking into places, stealing TVs? Would you be automatically a grand theft auto person, stealing cars?
Well, what if you had a family to feed? You have a family of four at home to feed. You've got no money. You've got no way to buy food to feed that family of four. Would you go out and do whatever you had to do to feed that family of four?
Yes.
Yes,
you would. That would mean you'd do a job anywhere.
If you could get a job, but if it was like the Great Depression, as you so fondly mentioned, there'd be no jobs to be had.
And what happened?
So what are you going to do?
And what happened? Did they resort to crime? You know why they didn't resort to crime? Because families were intact. Because fathers and mothers raised kids to be moral, productive, no matter what your circumstances are.
It was a different time.
Poverty is not mean there's crime. Breakdown of the family means there's crime. Breakdown of kids running wild with no parents and fathers means there's crime. Not poverty. It's a liberal mantra to say if you just gave these people money, there'd be no crime. That is a con. It's a lie. Families are needed in society. Now, Richmond Public Square can have all the conversations they want about whether poverty is the root of some of society's biggest problems, but we know poverty is just finances. There's a moral aspect of that is implied there. Out of money doesn't mean that you're immoral.
Nick and Henrico, you're on with the Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW.
Yes, I just had I was talking to some friends. And we were trying to figure out if Trump wins, then the riots will commence from, I reckon, the minorities, thugs, or whatever. And if Clinton wins, then riots will proceed because it's a revolution and all this stuff. So, which way should I go?
Well, I don't think you'll see the rioting if Clinton wins. You won't see the rioting.
Yeah.
If Trump wins, if there's rioting, they ought to put those folks in jail for as long as they can keep them in jail.
Yeah, but we don't vote on who's going to riot. I mean, that's not why you vote. You don't go, I'm going to go into the polling booth because I want riots here and not there. I mean, that's not even. I wouldn't think. Of course, there'll be people do stupid things, regardless who's president.
Robin and Bon Air, you're on with the Lee Brothers.
Good point, Robin.
Or not.
Call
us back, Robin.
454-1366. So the panel got together at the Richmond Times-Dispatch and discussed this, that poverty is the root of some of society's biggest problems. It's not. A fellow panelist stood up, an educator and an activist from Hillside Court, and said police shootings are a symptom of widespread racial bias. And she encouraged the audience to step out of the comfort zone of white privilege. Who are these people? That seems
they've got some awfully twisted views. Robin and Bon Air, you're back with us. Hello, Robin.
Yes.
There you are. Welcome to the program.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, I enjoy your program.
Thank you.
I have two quick comments, and then I'll hang up and listen. My first comment was kind of a question. What did you see that article about the fact that Hillary had this monitor on her podium during the last debate?
Yeah, heard about that.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious. I mean, did you see the videos of it where the guy goes back later on and he makes like he's cleaning up and then he removes it?
Right.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Okay, here's my other comment. I have called every major talk show host that you can get in this town, all of the usual suspects, the big ones. And I never get past the screener because when they ask me what I want to talk about, I tell them that there is a slam dunk way to stop all of this nonsense, and that would be for people to make a very vocal fact that they are going to boycott all of the products that are represented by the major network news. And nobody wants to talk about that. But that would do it, but nobody wants to talk about that.
That's because, I don't know,
everybody.
Robin, yeah, Robin, thanks for the call. I'm just not sure that would work.
You couldn't get everybody to boycott them. That's the problem.
That's the problem, right?
That's the problem. But I agree with Robin. If you could make that work, you would get somebody's attention. But
boycotting, I'm not a boycotter. I don't think that heck, if I was boycotting things, I couldn't do anything. I mean, half the stuff I buy and say I disagree with, so I'd be in a whole lot of trouble. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW.
Push the T now.
The system is rigged, says Trump. But he wasn't the first. It was said by Obama. It was said by Biden. It was said by Hillary. And that video is at 820theanswer.com. Click on the photo of the Lee brothers. Takes you right to the rigged system that they talked about first. Also, there's a video there about millennials and how to help them. Those poor millennials. The video is a riot. It's 820theanswer.com. How to help a millennial. And Prager University has a political intimidation video that is... It is exactly what is happening today. Exactly. All at 820theanswer.com. Click on the photo of the Lee brothers, the caricature of the founding fathers and the Lee brothers.
Can't you get a grant for millennials? Isn't there a millennial grant?
Really?
If you're a millennial, you get a grant.
Is that how it works?
It's not that you don't have to pay it back. You just don't ever pay it back.
I see.
Nobody ever says anything.
All at 820theanswer.com. Click on the Lee brothers. All right, coming up, the argument. The Lee brothers are going to argue whether ghosts on this Halloween weekend are real. I've got help joining us. That is dead ahead.
Boo.
And your phone calls, 454-1366, 454-1366. The Lee brothers, Friday afternoon, 820 WNTW.
She's got tremendous hatred.
Tremendous hatred.
Why liberals should hate the World Series. Clowns, they're banned in some counties. And the Lee brothers argue about the existence of ghosts. That next. Virginia citizens and American patriots in the mold of Jefferson, Madison, and Henry radio as the founding fathers intended. My name is Scott Lee.
Hi, I'm Richard Lee. Thanks for joining us this beautiful fall afternoon. We're going to have an incredibly nice weekend, so get out and enjoy it. If someone walks up behind you and says, boo, it could be. It just could be.
So we've been arguing this for a long time. Oh, very funny. Got the little background music there. Ghosts, are they real or not? And this Halloween weekend, it seems appropriate to open up the conversation once again. But I got help this time. I wanted to know the truth about this. So there's this very interesting. The Center for Paranormal Research and Investigation is right here in the capital of the Commonwealth of Virginia. They conduct investigations into the paranormal. Joining us to discuss it is Brad Bradley. He's a research coordinator there. Brad?
Hi, Brad.
Hello. How are you?
We're great. Thanks for joining us.
Well, sure.
All right. So at risk of opening this thing up and sounding like we weren't preparing this, are ghosts real?
Well, that all depends on what you think a ghost is.
Ooh,
I mean, well, for us, we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. When people say they see a ghost, they perceive something. they perceive something that's visual or it's audible or something, that they've touched. And we're trying to figure out exactly what that is and how it manifests, especially in the perception range. So that's what we're looking for.
So it's interesting this time of year and Halloween. Do you get more phone calls about this stuff now, usually, or not? Doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah. During this time of year, we get we probably get a 50% increase in calls.
Why do you think? Because of Halloween?
More than likely, yeah. What it is, it focuses people's attention on things that they might normally overlook. So we think that's part of the situation, and they call us in because they now notice something they hadn't noticed before.
So have you ever investigated anything that just kind of made every hair on your body stand up, made you wonder?
Well, yes.
Really?
When I first started out, I'm a former chemist from industry, and I now work for state government. But I came in with a very skeptical attitude, and that has since changed.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, definitely. I came in, it's something. There has to be something natural going on, was what I thought. And in talking with the other folks in this group, they kind of, convinced me that I need to go out and collect more data before I make that kind of decision. So I said, okay. So we were actually, I've done a lot of investigations with this group, and this group has a very interesting set of skill sets.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have scientists, we have engineers, we have medical professionals, police officers, and things like that on the group, and it's very interesting to watch everybody work together. And but I saw something at a private residence that I won't go in that residence by myself. Let me put it that way.
No way.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
All right. So hang on, Brad. I don't know if you heard any of the build-up of the show. I've been listening to the show. Richard and I have argued this since we were kids. This has been an argument of ours, and we've never been settled. We've literally.
Well, the thing is, it's no argument to it. It goes to real.
Well, of course, exactly. That's Richard's position.
And that's just how it is.
Well, it's because you say you've seen them, touched them, felt them, had lunch with them.
I never said that. It was breakfast and dinner, no lunch.
So I find it interesting. We're talking with Brad Bradley. He's a research coordinator for the Center for Paranormal Research and Investigation. I find it interesting, Brad, that you guys actually maybe go into this a little skeptical from a scientific perspective. You're not trying to do anything from you're not doing holding hands and humming or anything like that, right?
Of course.
Oh
not.
No. We go at this from a strict scientific background. What we do, we look at a situation like somebody reports they've seen a ghost. So we look at it and they ask us to come down and examine it for us. So we look at it from an experimental design point of view. We design an experiment to go in and collect data. We figure out what we need to collect the data. We collect the data, we analyze it, and then we go forward.
What's the
we
data?
do the whole.
Is it just somebody speaking, or do they give you like a picture, or what do they do?
Well, what it is, sometimes people will call us in, and it's like they've seen something in their house or they've heard something in their house. So we'll go to their house, and we'll basically we interview them first, and we find out exactly what they think they've seen or heard. And then we go in and we figure out, well, we need to take these certain pieces of equipment to either collect audio, video, data from environmental sensors, you name it. And we take that in there and we collect all that data, and then we see if something's really going on. At that point, then we might go back and we might bring a whole lot more items to bear, a lot more gear to bear on the situation, and collect more data and see if we can figure out exactly what's happening in that location.
So have you ever seen the movie Poltergeist?
Yes.
Let's imagine. This is what I picture you guys doing. You going in there and you're getting all set up and trying to figure out the whole thing. Have you ever gone in and set up your equipment and then looked at these people and said, you guys are nuts?
No, not really. We have run into situations where we know nothing's going on, and we have run into situations where there are people with certain emotional challenges. I mean,
right.
You run into that kind of stuff, and we're very nice about it, and we let them know that nothing's really going on and what have you.
You're nice about it.
Have you ever done any studies or research at the governor's mansion?
No, no, we have not. It's really hard to get in and do that kind of thing at the governor's mansion.
Because that building is historically supposed to be haunted.
Yeah. We hear all the reports. I mean, I've spoken to individuals who've been in there and witnessed it, and there's definitely a lot of reports. Now, we have been in Monumental Church, which is right across Broad Street from there. And we just did a presentation there and did an investigation there on behalf of Historic Richmond, and that was pretty interesting.
Brad, are there haunted houses? I mean, just put it that way. Are there places that are haunted, like the place you're talking about?
Do you believe that there are haunted homes out there? Haunted
well,
houses?
Yeah, I think that there are locations where there's definitely activity outside the norm, and you know, I mean, I see activity and I hear activity in locations all over the place. You know, you have places like Bacon's Castle in Surrey. You have places like Mickey Tavern in Charlottesville, Monumental Church here in Richmond. You've got
and they're not explained scientifically? None of this is explained scientifically, is what you're telling me.
No, it can't be explained by, you know, with current science. However, as science progresses, there are certain theories that are coming out that we're latching onto and realizing, you know, that might explain what's going on here.
Oh.
So we're conducting, you know, we change our experimental design to go and look for these kind of things too.
Like the Usher at Byrd Theater, I think it was an Usher.
Yeah, I've heard about that too. We haven't been in Byrd Theater yet, at least not since I've been part of the group. They may have before. The group's been around since 2000, and I've only been part of the group since 2010. But, I've heard all about the Byrd Theater, and we'd love to get in there and see what's going on there.
Listen to you. I would love to get my hands on that place. So, So, Brad, do you have kids?
Yes, I do. I have a 6-year-old daughter.
What do you tell your daughter?
I tell her exactly what I do, and she has actually been with me on 2 different occasions.
Wow.
And because I mean, you know, when you have lack of child care like we do, I mean, you have to. And she goes with us, but she's very interested. She actually sits and watches the Ghost Hunters TV show with me all the time.
Do you tell her if the puppy's eyes are glowing red, don't try to pet it?
No, I don't go that route. But
That's terrible. All right, Brad, I appreciate your time here. Thank you so much. And I don't know that you solved the Lee brother family argument, but you certainly made it more interesting.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
All right.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you so much.
That's Brad Bradley. He's a research coordinator with the Center for Paranormal Research right here in the capital of the Commonwealth.
And truly a great American.
Your phone call's next, 454-1366. Do ghosts exist? Have you seen them? 454-1366. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW. Speaking of costumes, you wearing your Batman outfit this week?
I've got it on under my clothes right now.
Yeah, you do.
Because you never know, you might have to drop your drawers and fight crime.
454-1366. 454-1366. Lee Brothers 820 WNTW. You do realize, Richard,
plus the spandex is very comfortable.
You do realize that that Brad from the Paranormal Research Investigation Company here in Richmond made my case. He confirmed.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
he confirmed
did.
that there are haunted houses out there.
No, he didn't.
There are houses he will not go in by himself. Why do you suppose that is?
You didn't even listen.
Because the power's not turned on, he might slip and fall?
No, you didn't even listen to him.
Yes, I did.
He said that as more science is found out, we're beginning to have answers to all these questions.
Yeah, science will come out and say, wow.
In other words,
ghosts, we confirm it.
Every time you think there's a ghost, it's something else. It's something different. It's not what you think it is. We have convinced so many people in our country, and I don't know why.
We who?
People
you in what army?
People like to believe lies. I mean, look, Democrats are winning. That's proof right there. But people like to believe this stuff, and they've bricked themselves up into an altered state of consciousness to where there's a ghost. I see a ghost, and it's really a shadow flickering from a light that burned out or something.
Shadow of Scott peeking through your windows.
I guarantee you most people are on my side on this. 454-1366, that ghosts don't exist. It's mostly made up. It's a pigment of your imagination or whatever it is.
A pigment? Is that one of your mispronounced words? A pigment.
Yeah. No, seriously. 454-1366.
Ghosts are real. Most people will know
you've
that.
You've seen them.
I have seen them.
You have seen a ghost.
I have partied with them. Just kidding. But I have seen them.
You have seen them. What was the ghost doing? Richard, what was the ghost doing when you saw it?
He was doing ghostly things. I mean, you know how ghosts are. The ghost will tell you. You can't tell their stories about what they do, because then the ghost stories will be out and people will know what they do.
Have
and
you
then
ever
they'll realize how often? I mean, you've been walking through a mall, probably walked past a ghost and didn't even know it.
You are out of control.
They shop
Who
too.
are you?
They shop too.
They shop too? So
yeah.
now they're in the form of human beings in 3D with like real flesh. And so it's really a ghost that way?
Yeah. They can conjure up enough energy
when you and I were driving over the Pocahontas Parkway the other day on the way to the airport, you told me that was haunted. There
are two different stories of two different state police cars that saw Indians on horseback crossing that highway.
The Pocahontas Parkway.
The Pocahontas Parkway.
So the Indians were using the bridge we built? Yeah, right.
Well, they weren't using the bridge we built. We were driving through their burial grounds.
And that's where all the ghosts live, on the burial grounds.
That's right.
I think it's Annette.
Annette, welcome to the program. You're on with the Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. The way I want to frame this is to say that when I lived in Georgetown in the 60s, I lived on the street where Poltergeist was filmed, and I didn't know until I didn't even know it until about 6 years ago. And my friend who lived in Bethesda, she took me to the stairway where it gave me the creeps, and I remember the stairway, looking at it through the years when I lived in D.C. and not realizing that was what I was looking at. The other thing is that we have a friend who lives in a house in Deep Run, Virginia, which is kind of far off from D.C., but it's a suburb. And they apparently had a ghost, or the ghost is gone now. But
they got rid of it.
They moved on.
But I don't know how it happened, but just how it got rid of it. But okay. I know their little boy would go out into the shed, and he could feel that there was something there. And apparently they're British, and they had a relative from England come and visit. It was dark, and she had to go down to the kitchen for a glass of water, and she reached over to turn the light on, and she was scared to death. She felt a warmth next to her, like somebody was standing there. Apparently, another thing that happened was that people
I don't believe you.
Pardon?
I'm not.
He's telling me he doesn't believe me when I'm saying ghosts are real.
Well, I'll tell you something. We were invited to spend the night there, and I said, no way, Jose. I'm not going for that.
I'll believe her. Annette, thanks for the call. Appreciate
ghosts
it.
Are real, Annette.
It is Halloween weekend.
Ghosts are real.
I'm sure this story will resonate with many, whether ghosts are real. 454-1366. The Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW. And American Patriots on this Friday on your drive home for a Halloween weekend. My name is Scott Lee. My co-host, my ghost-believing brother, sitting to my left.
Sometimes it's far left.
Is Richard Lee. Now, I'd just go on record to state that most people, in fact, if we took a poll now, would be with me, Scott Lee,
that
the
totally
ghosts don't
disagree.
exist.
Most people
You think most people
say,
believe they exist?
Yes, they do.
454-1366.
67.8% of people on the planet Earth.
454-1366. You can chime in on your ghost stories. And there are some ghost stories. There's some places in Virginia that are haunted. You heard our expert in the beginning of the hour talk about some of those houses.
The governor's mansion.
The governor's mansion apparently is one of them.
You know, the governor's mansion in Virginia is the oldest governor's mansion being used today
in the country.
In the entire United States.
It's Virginia, baby. Come on, man.
And that woman in that white dress, she's old as dirt, literally. But she's alive and well in her ghostliness.
Counties are banning
ghosts,
clown costumes until Halloween is over. Then they're reinstating them. No, that's serious.
So after Halloween, you can be one of these crazy clowns.
Mississippi County has had enough of the creepy clown phrase. So Kemper County, Mississippi Board of Supervisors voted to make it unlawful to wear a clown costume in public. The ban covers
that's not
all.
fair. They're putting some people out of business. You know, what if you're a clown? What if that's what you do for your job?
What if you're on your way to a birthday party?
No more going to Little Timmy's birthday this weekend because, hey, you have to go in normal street attire. I'm a clown most of the time, kids. Get over it.
The ban will expire the day after Halloween.
That's crazy.
It comes at the request of the county sheriff, and it comes after a series of reports around the county that are spooky-looking clowns were threatening children in school. How were they threatening them?
The sheriff was probably accosted by a clown as a child.
Accosted
by a clown when he was a child.
The violation for the ban resulted in a fine of $150.
Well, let's see. You're going to make $300 at the party. You got to give half back to the county if you wear your
you're
suit.
dressed as a clown. Sales of creepy clown masks and costumes have skyrocketed in recent weeks.
Do they specifically call them creepy clown masks or just a clown mask?
There's
Do you
a
go
difference.
into the store and go, do you have clown masks and creepy clown masks?
I just cried the two. Clown masks. Some clowns are funny. Some clowns are,
I don't
evil
think
looking.
any of them are funny. I'm not
clowns,
a clown fan.
Okay, by definition, a clown is supposed to be funny.
I don't think they're funny.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just telling you.
I think they're horrid.
The clown is supposed to infer that it's a funny thing. They juggle. They're smiling. They make
so
jokes.
if a clown comes up and you've got a little 3 or 4 year old there and he scares a 3 or 4 year old to half to death, is it legal to just knock the clown out? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
just
like
stand
Uncle
up
Buck on
and just punch
board or
him. Pretty much.
I think it would be.
Yeah, it should be.
The American Civil
Then
Liberties
you can go
Union.
around looking for clowns.
Go around looking
come
for
over here
them,
and
punch
scare
them
my
out.
kid. See if you scare my kid.
The American Civil Liberties Union is involved.
You did whack. They seriously.
Yeah, they say
they
that,
represent clowns.
Apparently, they're saying it's a people's choice of clothing is protected under the First Amendment. I don't know that clothing is protected under the First Amendment.
No, it's not.
I don't know about that. It's a ridiculous.
I think that pertains to having your underwear half hang out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They go on to say, ACLU says, quote, a ridiculous use of government authority to dictate which Halloween costumes people can wear. I actually agree with that. Government has no business dictating what I can wear.
No, they don't.
I want to
They
be a
really
clown, I can
don't.
be a clown. In fact, some people do think I'm a clown, so it doesn't. I just don't dress
and
up
rightfully
as one.
so.
And rightfully so. So as a kid, I was never afraid of clowns, but as an adult, I find myself much more fearful of them. I don't know why.
I don't like clowns.
I think a lot of
I
people
never
don't
have
like
liked clowns.
Not a fan of the clown.
If you're a clown, I'm not even going to say I'm sorry. I don't like you. I don't like clowns.
You don't
Get
become
another job.
But you wouldn't become violent with a clown, would you?
Depends. If he comes up and terrifies my kid.
He's got tremendous hatred.
If he comes up and scares my kid, you know, if he doesn't run away, if the clown doesn't run away screaming, he's going to wish he did, I guess you'd say.
I wanted to hit a couple of those speakers so hard.
I wanted to
hit a couple of those clowns so hard.
I was going to hit this guy so hard.
Trump is a gift that keeps on giving.
Going to hit this clown so hard.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Clowns aren't the problem.
It's the people in the clown suits.
It's the people in
Is
the
that what
clown
you're saying?
suit. I mean, if the clown was just laying there, it'd be perfectly fine.
Just
All right.
laying there?
Yeah, in a
After
suit.
somebody accosted him?
Somebody accosted him. 454-1366.
Just laying there in the road?
I think
that's okay.
Where did this clown thing come from? How did people get so...
I don't know. All of a sudden, all these clowns are in the news, and they're... It's nuts. It's all over the place.
You know, in the pictures of them, when you see them on the news, they're like Bigfoot sightings. You know,
Maybe
they're like walking through the woods, and they look over their shoulder, and someone takes a picture. There's a clown.
Except Bigfoot's real, and clowns don't wear their costume all the time.
So Bigfoot's real. Ghosts are real. What world do you live in, man?
Here's the thing. Paul McCartney is actually dead. Michael Jackson's alive, and Bigfoot is real. Just saying.
Unbelievable. 454-1366. 454-1366. Lee Brothers have been arguing this since the beginning of Lee Brother family history. Ghosts are real. I guess the difference is, you know, you've experienced them and I guess seen them. I never have.
I hang with them.
Yeah.
You know.
And you said,
cool.
was it the ghost that you
Actually,
saw?
they're pretty cold because they don't.
The ghost that you saw, was it in a figure of a human? Or is it just
what do you think? He's looking like a rock?
I don't know.
Like
I mean, is it just like an
Didn't look
apparition
like a tree or something? Yeah.
What? Yeah, what?
An aberration.
Was it an aberration or is it like a
apparition? Is like shaped like a person.
Could you see through the ghost? Let me just ask you that. Translucent? What?
Some you can see through them, some you can't.
Oh, you see more than one?
Absolutely.
And some you can see through and some you can't? Some look like you sitting over there?
Absolutely.
Aren't you the ghost expert?
I am.
I don't want to bust your
game,
bubble.
I'm telling you. You're not busting any bubble of mine. You are wrong. You are wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm right on the ghost theory. Now, it's interesting that Halloween is upon us here, and I like the idea of having Halloween and scaring little kids when they come get candy. And that's just.
But you do that year round.
Yeah, I don't do that year round.
If you're in a grocery store and some lady's standing there with a child and she's looking off and the kid looks up at you, you scare that kid half to death.
That is scary.
Now that laughter needs to be on the website so people can pull it down and use it for their Halloween front porch scariness.
All right, coming up, baseball. Why liberals hate it, or at least they should hate it. And although they still cheer it, they're hypocrites in what they believe. We'll explain why. And your phone calls, 454-1366. We're the Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW.
10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes and a black Sharpie, budget crisis solved. The Lee Brothers, problem solvers on 820 WNTW.
There we go. Crank it. I'd like to listen to the song.
Would you?
Mm-hmm. It's Friday afternoon on your drive home. The Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW. I love the game of baseball. The World Series is on tonight. We'll be watching it with my son. And I can't help but think how, and politics doesn't exist in a baseball stadium. You could be sitting beside a communist, Marxist, liberal puke and cheering for the same team and never even know it. And yet,
But then when you find out, you change teams right away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But yet I can't help but think how hypocritical the left is when it comes to sports. Now, I don't have any doubt that Democrats and liberals like sports. I've seen them. I've talked to them. Yet everything they profess is the exact opposite with sports. The idea of fundamental fairness, that someone's better than another, that there's winners and there's losers, the left can't handle that. And in government, they try to stop it. They use the force of the federal government to make things fair. And they claim to make them fair when they're actually not making them fair, but they say fair and everyone embraces it. All the massive inequality of income is to be fixed by government.
So if the baseball team is winning, the other team should be given runs.
Exactly.
To make it fair.
That's what I'm telling you. Liberals, how do you do it? How do you compartmentalize your life in such a way that you can go to a sporting event and watch the Cubs play the Indians and actually have real winners and losers, yet hate that in life?
They play 7 games that are all ties, and then they flip a coin at the end.
And that would even be unfair. They have to give trophies to both teams, and there shouldn't even be a World Series because that would imply that there's a championship somewhere. And in life, you can't have that.
No championship for you.
The left is interesting to me. How they can look at a baseball game and see the rules that everyone plays under are the same. There's no one buying favor. There's no one sending emails that are supposed to be classified. I mean, these are, and they don't have a serious problem with someone being better than the other. And then I notice that Game 5 of the World Series, which is now assumed to be the most expensive sporting event ever, the average ticket will be $6,500.
Now that is ridiculous.
I am asking the liberals and Democrats to ask government to help. I would like you liberals to live up to your promise that this is fundamentally unfair and that if you could do anything, if you could just talk to Obama and Hillary and say that this can be fixed, that government can help.
Government can help.
Yes, government can help me get my tickets to the World Series game because it's not quite fair that some can go and others can't. And in this case, who can go? Only the elite. Fundamentally unfair. There is inequality in my ability to go to a World Series game.
They should take the name of every person at that game and tax them more.
Every one of them.
Every one of them should pay more in taxes. If they can afford $6,500 per seat tickets, they certainly should be paying more in taxes.
I just do not understand how the liberals are allowing for this. And Obama used to talk about how it was a pet peeve of him for to see successful people.
Because, yes, you've worked hard, but you've also been lucky.
You've been lucky.
That's a pet peeve of mine. People who've been successful and don't realize they've been lucky.
Yeah. He's such a goofball.
He sounds so gooberish. I mean,
I feel important now.
I feel important now. Yeah,
I feel important now.
Yeah.
You leftists.
People been lucky. Just lucky.
You can go to a sporting event and you can cheer your team on to win. But in life, the way the economy works, free markets and capitalism, it's the ultimate of competition. It truly gives people of freedom more choices in health care, in housing, in universities and colleges. The problem is you don't want freedom. Yet you get to go to a baseball game or you went to watch the World Series tonight, and everything you pronounce in your life is the opposite at the World Series tonight. How do you do it? How do you do it? I don't have a problem with the baseball game. I like winners and losers. I like competition. I think it's the best way for the world to work, except the left just can't get it. So I ask you again, can you please get government to help?
Government can help.
They can. They can help me get to the World Series. I deserve it. It's about fairness.
We all deserve it.
It's about fairness. 454-1366. We are the Lee Brothers, 820 WNTW.
Solutions are so powerful that we should consider allowing a co-presidency. The Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW.
And that's a wrap on your Friday afternoon with the Lee Brothers.
Wrap full of Halloween candy. Halloween's coming up.
You know, that's the one thing I do enjoy. My kids come back, and I go through all their candy and eat a bunch of it.
Yeah.
That's not good for me. Hey, did you see where Joe Morrissey announced his endorsements this week? Hard-working women of the city. 75 of them endorsed Joe Morrissey.
That sounds like a rock band.
Hard-working
women of the city.
And they endorsed.
What are you doing tonight? I'm going down to see the hard-working women of the city.
All right, check us out at 820theanswer.com, 820theanswer.com. Click on the caricature of the Founding Fathers and the Lee Brothers. It takes you to 3 great videos. One is millennials and how you can help them. And believe me, they need help. This video is outstanding. And the rigged system. The rigged system, voting system that Obama, Hillary, and Biden have all talked about. That video is there also. And then, of course, the final one, the political intimidation that is happening in our country even today. Prager University has a phenomenal video. Go to 820theanswer.com. Click on the Lee Brothers. Takes you to our site there. And you can also contact us anytime. Our bios are there. And our email address, the Lee Brothers on 820 WNTW.
Thanks for joining us this beautiful Friday afternoon. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. I don't know how many more weekends we'll have they're going to be as nice as this one. Halloween's coming. Be safe with the little ones out trick-or-treating. I hope there's a lot out this year.
Yeah, and there will be.
I hope they...
just drive slow. Jeez.
I hope they all leave their bag full of candy on my front porch. I'll go through it for them, and they can pick it up the next day. We'll see you next Friday right here on 820 WNTW. The Answer.
I feel important
My friends, we did it. We weren't just marking time. We made a difference. We made the city stronger. We made the city freer. And we left her in good hands.